At least some language, some speech, some like, saying things. You know
movies.
what I'm trying to say? I can't even say it.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I know that, Mr. Man. They also call them cereals. I'm not stupid, you know.
The story is ludicrous. You can imagine where it goes from here.
Fixes the cable.
The last man on Earth lives in a fortress.
The hell it is. It's Sunday. Sunday, I always dress for dinner. How does that grab you, Caesar?
The last man on Earth always carries an automatic weapon. Because the last man on Earth is not alone.
Okay. Well, it's sunny out, but for the sake of appearances, I will lie to our listeners.
Lie to them. They
It
don't
is
know.
Black Dog Video. It is After Dark. Wink, wink.
The name of the show, but just before dark.
Which makes this the Black Dog Video After Dark podcast, a.k.a. Black Dog After Dark. I am Dylan Reimer, one of your regular hosts, stand-up comic, and infrequent employee of Black Dog Video here in Vancouver. And to my left sits...
We're all kind of infrequent employees right now, are we not?
And to safely, at a distance, to my left is...
I'm Alex Chisholm. I'm also a employee of Black Dog Video. I work at the Rio Theater as well. And and I'm 1/3 of this podcast.
Whoa, that's some strong math.
33%.
Yeah.
And then some.
Darren Gay over here on the other side of the desk, a safe distance from these two louts. I own this recently shuttered establishment. You know, we're
Not for long.
Well, not for long. We reopened in a couple days for to fight the plague. Yes.
Nostalgia movie podcasts are an essential service. The movie is...
Dum,
Sorry,
dum,
you're
dum,
staring at me.
Yeah, you tried to intimidate him.
I don't know what year this film came out. I forgot to write it down.
It was 1971, I believe.
Omega.
71.
1971's the Omega. Is it? It's 1971
Yep.
though?
It
Because
is 1970.
It takes place
Now-
in 1977,
Correct.
but it was made in 1971.
because he at one point he watches Woodstock the movie.
Over and over again.
He says 3 years.
And he says 3 years. So I was just like, is this film like 1972?
No, I'm thinking like... Because, Woodstock was 1970. The movie,
Is that what
what I'm thinking is it could be like a second-run theater,
Yeah.
which would have played it even a year later. Keep in mind, films played in theaters so much longer in that era. That's the truth. Like, especially a hit like that would go to like a second-run theater
Yeah, and in
and
New York,
play for weeks.
in New York City, it's going to be
Yeah.
they have a lot of those small rep theaters.
so
over
it's-
there.
Or
factoring
Los
that in.
Angeles for that matter.
But this takes place in New York, though, right?
No,
It doesn't.
you got New York out of that.
I thought it was New York.
That's L.A. 100%.
Really? Because they talk about Harlem and stuff.
That was supposed to be New York. It didn't.
I don't know.
That didn't look anything. Okay, the movie's
It
the
was
Omega
filmed-
Man, by the way.
There were no.
It was filmed in L.A.
But there were no palm trees. In
Hold on a
that
second.
scene,
Just to
were
be clear, it's 1972's.
there? One.
1971's The Omega Man, starring Charlton Heston. I'm not sure who directed it.
Boris Sagal.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
And I guess, it just seemed appropriate, given our circumstances
Yeah.
of being holed up in our apartments or houses, respectively, or whatever.
Shooting zombies.
The Omega Man was my pick. I'll be honest, I don't really have much of a memory of this. I definitely seen it before, but I couldn't tell you when, and I couldn't tell you where. Probably on late night
You
television.
can tell us.
At some point in my youth. Pretty much a first viewing for me. So how
All
about
right.
you, Alex? What are your first memories of Omega Man?
Or your
First
last memories.
time, well, I saw it sometime on TV. Like, I saw scenes of it when I was really young and didn't see the whole thing. But I saw it about 2 or 3 times in the 90s on home video,
The
which was
90s.
VHS then. I watched it again this evening, yeah. But I saw it a bunch of times, like I said, in the 90s. Me and some friends got obsessed with seeing the original, or at least I got obsessed with it and imposed it on my friends. Rewatching the original Planet of the Apes movies. I hadn't seen them in years. When the early 90s rolled around, I was really nostalgic for them. And then from there on, I started checking out other Charlton Heston
He was
sci-fi
kind of
from
a
that
go-to
era.
guy for sci-fi in the late 60s, early
Yeah.
70s, wasn't he?
That's
He was.
That kind
He's
of
in
surprised.
Earthquake, which is a blast. He's in
Not a
Silent Green.
sci-fi.
Well, in
It's
a way
action.
it is.
Yeah, Soylent Green, Planet of the Apes,
Yeah.
and then later on, did you ever see a movie called The Awakening or something like that? It's about like a mummy or something like that. I saw it in
No.
the theater for some reason in 1980.
Oh.
Terrible movie, but he's in that as well.
Apparently, he was the first choice for Brody in Jaws by the studio, but
I'm glad they went with Roy Scheider because Charlton Heston, he's all John overacting and sweaty chest hair.
Anything he's in becomes a Charlton Heston joint. And that's good, but it's like
all those Spike Lee movies
he's like, barbecue sauce.
Yeah, but not very good barbecue sauce.
Like just the flavor just like
overwhelms everything.
It's good at the right barbecue, but you don't want to put it on your cornflakes.
You don't want to put it on, in this case, your shark fin soup, Jaws. By the way, they what was it? Their first choice for Brody, the studio was Charlton Heston, and their first choice for the crusty old sailor, which ended up being Robert Shaw. They wanted Lee Marvin.
What's his face?
But anyway, enough about Jaws. We're talking about the Omega Man.
Yeah, and those biblical epics, and I don't even mean this as like a jab at faith.
Jab him.
Or the faith community.
Jab the faith.
But the Ten Commandments, in a lot of ways, is a science fiction film.
Yeah, of course it is.
I mean, if you just think aesthetically with special effects and blah, 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 blah.
So he also did Ben-Hur. Is that a biblical epic, or is that like a historical?
It's an historical epic,
but it's not based on.
I mean, Jesus
Bible
turns
stuff.
up in it. He makes a cameo. JC.
Does he? Was he the other chariot driver?
No. He's hanging from a piece of wood, bleeding to death.
Oh, he's there for comic relief.
But Ben-Hur's like, oh, look at that, and then he just sort of carries on.
Hey, look at that.
He uses him as a landmark. He's like, can you see direct north up there? Can you see your house from there? I got a soft spot for Charlton Heston. I don't know why. Everything about the guy.
It's because we grew up watching him in all these. It's like some of these movies are pretty cool.
I didn't really grow up watching him, though.
Oh, well,
but by the time I was a kid, it was like Planet of the Apes was decidedly uncool.
I'm 30 years older than you. So.
Yeah. You were born in 1930.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Goddamn
Ten Commandments I found really disturbing.
Charlton Heston seems to be in a lot of movies where he's the only real man.
Right.
This did remind me a lot of Planet of the Apes, but instead of apes, it's like mannequins and weird phantasm druids.
Yeah, Jawas, tall Jawas.
Yeah, they're like tall Jawas.
I've seen this movie before. I don't remember when. I don't remember where. I don't remember how or why. I remember not liking it very much back when I first saw it. I thought it was kind of boring. I thought the bad guys were lame and uninteresting and non-threatening. And Charlton Heston was the only reason I liked some of the movie because he's a watchable guy.
He's a scenery chewer.
Yeah, he's
like a regular Pac-Man.
Yeah, he is.
Just chomp, chomp, chomp.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of fiber.
But that's my recollections, which is not much.
Okay, so the movie starts out. I got the impression it was Los Angeles. I think at some point he mentions Los Angeles.
Okay, for some reason I thought it was New York.
Definitely filmed in Los Angeles.
But yeah.
But I'm not. I never.
There's no way in hell that was supposed to be New York.
There's a sarcastic reference to Harlem, but other than that, there's no real mention of the place. But it was definitely filmed in LA.
When it first opens up and there's he's driving around really fast in the empty streets, I was like, how do they do this? Because there's no special effects.
Did you watch the extra features?
I watched a little bit of it until I got bored.
Yeah, they had a whole making of thing. It was hosted by Heston.
Oh, I didn't watch that one. I watched a couple of some recollections by the cast and stuff like that.
It was pretty hilarious. It was Charlton Heston interviewing some
I missed that.
anthropologist or some shit. It was like some guy that they got from the University of UCLA or whatever. And it's like he's got like a pipe and glasses. He was a proper fucking geek. And it was like Charlton Heston going, and when I looked into my character by himself, this man, would he even think he's a man anymore? And then the anthropologist is like, yeah, whatever, Charlton Heston.
Talking like that all the time.
People go crazy when they're by themselves. They need other people. It was just really weird because it was Charlton Heston interviewing like some professor from the nearest university.
Right. Whoever the nearest university.
Who was like clearly not impressed. Like he seemed like he was not starstruck in the slightest. He's driving around.
Yes.
Our hero.
Yeah.
Omega Man, Mr. O.
Mr. O.
And he's in this like kick-ass convertible.
Sweet. Yeah, there's a lot of sweet rides in this car, I have to say,
Yeah,
sweet rides in this car.
Did I say this car?
Sweet
rides in this movie.
Yeah, he's not driving some like a VW Beetle or whatever.
Oh god.
He's zipping around in this like boat of a convertible. And
kind of like the one that just pulled up to our window.
And he's driving way too fast.
Yeah.
But everywhere. There's no one around.
Yeah, but it doesn't work out for him ever.
it was filmed in L.A., but they did it on off hours. They got up like early, like
holidays.
sunrise until noon on Sundays, and drove around until there was like one completely deserted street.
But it's hard because like a lot of there's a pan out where he's driving, and you can see a lot of the city, and there's nobody there.
What it was very like drive around, determine, get to the top of a building. I'm not joking. I read this years ago, and then it's like just point it the first side you see without any sign of life, just film it. Yeah,
right. Well, you'd have to do it early in the morning.
The only thing I remembered is the very beginning, which is just Charlton Heston driving around like a madman.
Yeah.
And then he's wearing aviators.
Yeah.
And then he just stops and he looks at a building and then he just grabs this fucking automatic weapon.
A shadow.
And he just machine guns the fuck out of this building.
I've always loved that as an opening, since that's a part that has stood out. It's not like I sit around and think about this film, but from seeing in the past, I always loved how it starts off so tranquil and quiet, and then he suddenly slams on the brakes and sprays a machine gun.
It's filmed really weird, too, because it's like fast motion all of a sudden. I guess in 1971, 8-tracks were obviously there. But when it's set in 1977, don't they have cassettes?
Well, no, but everything stopped in 71, right?
71.
No, 75 was when the things went down, because there's a lot of calendars on the wall that said March 1975.
Well,
it makes sense.
He said 3 years, that he'd been alone for 3 years.
2 years.
Because the calendar shows twice in different locations that things stopped in 75.
March of 1975 was the last.
Yeah. He says at one point later in the film, he says it's August 5th, 1977 when he's recording his log.
Yeah.
But it would make sense. No, I mean, there were
maybe he was alone a year before.
8-tracks were still, people are like, what? No way. But no, seriously, they were still even available in Old Columbia until about 1981.
Those things are the worst
they were
delivery
awful.
Of music.
They were awful, but the players...
So hard to use.
The players would have so proliferated the market, especially if like you bought a car with it.
Right.
You'd be stuck with that. It's not like everyone's going to switch it up.
Yeah.
It was popular enough. And to be honest, people, like, their popularity was rock bottom at this point, but they were actually still widely available until about like 1981.
Right.
You could buy an 8-track format, but no one was buying them anymore. But
how do you know 1981? Why that specific year? What happened then?
People had 8-tracks when I was a kid.
What do you mean what happened then?
What happened to you? What happened to you in 81 that made you remember that?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. It was the last year. What 8-tracks are widely available?
How do you know that?
Is that when you fell into that ice cave and you were frozen and they thawed you out a couple of years ago?
Yeah, he's Captain America.
And you're like, 1981, last month. No, you're Iceman with
Timothy Hutt
and Jeff. Again with Timothy Hutt. We got to do some more of the Huttsters. I don't know about you guys, but the thing I'm looking forward to most now that lockdown is subsiding, it's not 100%.
No, I'm not sure.
But we are allowed out of our layers,
out of our hovels,
and we're allowed to do a few things.
Yep.
Like record podcasts. But the thing I'm looking forward to the most,
what is it?
Is going down to Jefferson's Barbershop.
Yes.
At the corner of 5th and Commercial.
4th, we're not exactly sure.
We're not quite sure, but it's next to the skate shop.
We should know that. It's right next to that African restaurant. I can't
Jefferson's Barbershop, where I will be getting my first haircut in what will be about 3.5 months.
Yeah.
So so go there because they were closed down for 2 months. They do a mean trim.
Yes, I'm getting my haircut there. I think a week after. It's like almost a week and a half from now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait because I look like a crazy person now.
Like a Bruce Dern character.
If you're going to get your haircut, you're going to get your feet massaged, you're going to get your eyebrows waxed, whatever you're doing, these people have been out of work for a long time.
For
pay them, tip them well.
Yep.
Show them your love.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to seeing Jeff again. He's a good dude.
Yep.
And getting the hairs cut, and I'm going to give him a nice big
fat
tip,
folks. And that is our obligatory product placement.
Yep.
On with the show.
Yes.
So
Charlton Heston's gone to the movies. He's driving around.
First he buys / steals another car.
No, I think he wipes. I think he goes to the movies first. He goes to the movies, and then he ends up being there too long. It's like it's his first time watching Woodstock.
He crashes the car first.
Are you sure?
Yes, and then he picks up another car and goes.
He steals that sweet Mustang out of the showroom.
That's right.
Yeah, and I remember being confused because I was like, because he looks over and there's like a dead secretary like lying at her desk, all dried up.
She died while she was working.
And I was just like, wait, how quick was this plague? But they actually explain later that it's like 4 minutes and you're dead.
Yeah, that whole thing I have an issue with. But anyway,
the actual science elements of this movie are dubious.
Although this movie is written by a scientist and his wife, who has they both have PhDs. One has science, the other one has psychology or something like that. I watched a little expert.
Well, the psychology elements are great, but it's just the science not so much.
Yeah, they riffed on the source material, but because it's vampires, of course, in the original story. But that being said, though, I loved the glimpses of bodies throughout this movie.
Needed more.
The thought that it still worked for me as it was, but because it strikes me as like there would have been warfare brewing. People knew about it. It's like people are starting to stay home. The few people still going to their jobs, and then they're wiped out. So a lot of people died out of sight.
Well, I
just loved the glimpses of the bodies. I love the idea that some people kind of shriveled up and died immediately because they all looked like shriveled up mannequins, or kind of were only just damaged and warped to the point where they became these kind of creatures.
There's a scene later in the film where it's showing what had happened. It's like, flashbacks or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone is like dying in the streets. All of a sudden they grab their throats and they just die. And it says the once you get it, you can't breathe and you die within minutes.
Yes.
The streets have been fucking littered with bodies because there's hundreds of people out on the streets at that time when it's happening.
Truthfully, though, but I thought of this, though, is that still, I don't think it necessarily everyone was dying at once. It was like those who happened to get infected. Something became airborne. Not everyone was affected right away. And yeah, bodies would have collapsed. Some people would have tried to drag people to safety. I don't think all those hundreds of people died at once. I just think
they showed that on the streets, though.
Well, they didn't show everyone collapse at once. It was more or less like it was packed streets. It was kind of the idea.
Why I thought it was New York because that looked like the streets of New York.
There was a one to a few in every crowd.
I thought the street should have been littered. Why are all these fucking people out walking around when this is happening?
Yeah.
They're in denial.
But then
you look at pictures of people packing the beach during COVID.
Yeah,
but live in denial and go out.
But COVID takes a lot longer than 4 minutes.
If COVID took 4 minutes, people wouldn't be leaving their fucking house.
No, they wouldn't be going selling used cars.
It's just a logical inconsistency, that's all.
Anyways, but so he's driving around. He blows a tire because he's driving too fast.
Yeah.
So he wipes out. He crashes. Not the first time he crashes.
He's lucky he didn't break his arm or something.
Yeah, I know. Like, dude, you're the last person alive. There's no doctors.
Yeah.
And you're driving like a fucking maniac, like around the streets, and who knows what's going to be around the next corner? Like it's
you're losing your marbles.
It's the apocalypse.
That's true.
And if it were 2 years after the apocalypse too, and I were out driving, watch out first of all. But seriously,
yes.
I'd be speeding around. If I had confirmed by that point that pretty much everyone else was dead, I'd be taking insane risks hanging out in the city.
But if something happens to you, then you're basically going to die.
Yeah.
Like if you break your arm, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
If you get an infection,
I'm
you're
not
going to
be terrified. Oh my god! I'll probably just go.
So he steals.
Buy a parachute, jump off the Empire State.
So then he goes to the theater and he's watching Woodstock for the umpteenth time. Because
a movie I couldn't even get through once.
Well, I like the movie a lot actually. It's fascinating to watch.
Woodstock is great.
Yeah.
Everything after the Sha Na Na, I don't care.
No, the way it's filmed with the split screens and stuff, and there's like great crowd stuff. And when I was watching, I was like, oh, I think I'd rather be watching Woodstock than this movie right now.
Alex just rolled his eyes so fucking hard.
They're in the back of his head still.
I think the listeners can hear it at home. I don't really think the Sha Na Na were the best part of Woodstock.
Well, then, why explain this?
The
T-shirt you're wearing right now, Sha Na Na was the best thing at Woodstock. It says it right across your chest. Yes,
he gets out of the movie. And he realizes that the sun's going down. He doesn't want to be out after dark because that's when the Jawas come out, the tall Jawas.
Yeah.
But my question is, he's seen this movie so many times. He knows how long it is. He knows when it ends. So every time he sees it, he has to race home because it's getting dark, like every single time?
No, he just starts at a different time.
Well, today
it started a bit
nobody
later.
works at the theater.
Today it started a bit later because of...
Why was I thinking that?
It
starts at 2 o'clock.
Like he checks cinema clock. Oh, shit.
I don't know why I was thinking that.
Because you're stupid.
I'm stupid.
That's why you're thinking that.
Because the zombie usher insists you be there for that too.
Or he won't let you in. And by the way, now if these zombies are like, they're seemingly obsessed with Charlton Heston, and there's quite a few of them like they're lurking in daylight.
All I know is one question burned into my brain during the scene: how much wood would a Woodstock stock if a Woodstock could stock wood?
You gonna make fun of him for that one?
I don't even. I'm not gonna dignify that with any kind of response.
I can't believe you don't have children. That's such a fucking dad joke.
Boy, that's gonna be like the dead air after your joke there.
And I'm gonna let it hang for like 12 minutes.
Just keep editing it.
Crickets.
Anyways, let's get
I'm
back
like,
to the
I get that he wants them, but is Woodstock the only movie that exists?
Well,
No, but for whatever reason, it's grown on him, and my theory is
Tits?
Plus, we don't actually see. I mean, it could be even conceivable that he goes to watch different movies around town. They're just making the
Right.
point with this one film scene.
well, there's also the one scene that he mouths.
Yeah.
Is like I'm not sure who the guy is in the movie, possibly a producer or something like that, about creator, the guy who put Woodstock on, about his theory of working all together.
Yes.
You don't want to be wandering the streets by yourself. Kind of, it's sort of
it's totally a comment, and also I just think he probably is watching it because of just like the endless crowds. Like he's so lonely.
Yeah, I was
and
thinking
you're
that
looking
too.
at millions of
Wouldn't
people.
that make you sad?
Well,
'cause,
both, but still,
Are you
wouldn't you
kidding?
want to
It would,
glimpse of
it
that
would
if
make
you
me
were-
happy. I'd be like, ew, those disgusting hippies. I'm glad they're all dead. Like,
Think he masturbates to the movie all the
oh,
time?
for sure he jerks off in that theater.
Yeah.
Look, we've established that these these Jawas, whatever you want to call them, the
Mutants
Scientologists,
or whatever, yeah.
they're running around, and and by the way, the rules of sunlight versus zombie in this are
They vary.
if they're capable of monitoring him during the day, just get him when he's in the theater.
Yeah.
It couldn't be any darker.
Yeah. And then when he gets
When his pants are down, he can't run away.
So there's one thing about this movie that basically destroyed the movie for my enjoyment of this movie, and I'm going to put it out right now, and it is the music. The music in this movie, the soundtrack. What are you doing now?
I'm doing something that would go totally unnoticed if you didn't call attention to it.
What you doing? Arts and crafts now?
Yeah.
Wait, make it a.
Wait, are you going to make it like a puppet
Are
or
you doing
something?
your Sudoku?
No, I'm going to make a little sign for the shop.
You know we're doing a
So-
podcast right now, right?
That's right. And you know what? If you just ignored me, it wouldn't even become
How
an
can I
issue.
ignore you? You're sitting there with like a pair of sharp scissors cutting paper.
So, how dare I? I know. You'll thank me a year from now.
Oh, I'm
when
glad
people
it-
are complimenting this sign in the store, you're going to say, I'm so glad that my interruption of Alex, it's going to look so
everybody.
good in our cult section.
Dud bombs.
You don't think that's really cool?
It's urgent.
Fine. I don't think it need to be done right
I
now.
Yeah,
I
but it's just far
appreciate.
ahead, and I would have forgotten it. Yeah, but I'm going to put
Sections.
an arrow. I'm going to make an arrow as my next step.
Oh,
So are you doing
Right.
that maybe 15 minutes from now when we
Something
talk
like
about something
that.
else?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, something like that.
All right. I don't even know what I was talking about.
All I know is if I want to make an arrow for my little buddy section there, let me make an arrow in peace. You don't have to comment.
Why don't you just do your arts and crafts before the fucking podcast?
Because they come to me during the podcast.
What?
Yeah,
I'm so
it's-
glad we inspire you.
Yeah. Let's
Um,
get back to this movie here.
Anyway, so blah blah blah. He goes to see Woodstock.
So he drives home, and then the Jawas have this terrible plan.
Oil. It's like no, they know where he lives.
Yeah.
And he like hits the garage door opener, which
Uh-huh.
opens incredibly slowly. And then the Scientologists jump out, and they have like a pot of boiling water or oil, gasoline,
and
whatever.
they light it on fire.
And
But why did they dump it in his car?
They dump it on his car, and then
No,
they
they
jump
did-
onto his car.
But why did they dump it in his car on top of him?
Here's an idea. Why don't they get 400 of them to hide behind his building and then pounce on him and rip his eyeballs out and
Yeah.
stomp on his fucking
Instead
head?
of like 3 guys attack him.
It's the hokiest little plan. It's
Yeah.
like a bunch of 12-year-olds like trying to beat you up.
They look like 12-year-olds in their silly robes.
And so he
stuff.
screeches into his underground parkade,
Yeah.
and he kills one. He flies against the wall.
Yeah, and shoots
And
him.
then he I've always had this thing about Heston. I guarantee you, in his rider, it's like at least 17 machine guns. Like, but you're playing Moses.
For my cold, dead hands.
He's just my hot Heston-y hand.
His hot
Um,
Heston-y hands.
They actually have one of his cold dead hands in the NRA museum.
Oh, really? Eh? Just
Yeah,
one?
It's just cold. It's on
Yeah,
ice at
it's
all
on
times,
ice, yeah.
and
So,
there's still a gun.
Yeah,
You
awesome.
can't pry it out.
Nope, you can't.
You can try.
Nope.
You can try.
It's like Excalibur.
So these it's like I don't know why I just thought this movie was better than it is, and it's like
I did as well. We're going in. I remember being not very great, but better than what I was watching. last night.
when those guys in those suits jumped down onto his car, I burst out laughing.
Yeah.
But whatever, okay. Because there is a lot I like about this movie, and so that he machine guns them, and he just leaves their corpses there, and then he gets his generator up and running, which
Yeah.
for some reason he has locked in a cage.
Well, so the Jawas
Well,
can't
if they
them.
get in there, they'll totally destroy those resources.
And he's got an elevator that goes up to this nice, awesome apartment. Actually,
It's his place. He says later it was his place while he was alive.
Yeah, well, it's actually pretty good because like nobody can get up there.
It's completely awesome.
Yeah.
I love.
He actually refers to it as a honky paradise. Which
he doesn't refer to it as that.
He was spending most of his life living in a honky paradise.
Who calls it a honky paradise?
It's one of the zombies. Who used to be a black man, but now
that guy.
All the zombies, for the listeners who haven't seen this, if they're white or they're black or whoever, whatever their racial background is, everyone is a powdery white.
Green now or
and everyone has like completely white eyes.
Like
so this
the
character who presumably used to be a black man who's now completely powdered white as a zombie says it's a honky paradise.
Well, I guess it would be weird if Charlton Heston described his home pad as a honky paradise.
Yeah.
It's my honky paradise. Home again to my honky paradise.
I've always loved the word honk.
Well, in the early days of the shop, when you were trying to pick a name, you almost called it Honky Paradise.
You almost called it Black Honky.
Can you imagine we call it Honky Paradise Video?
Oh my God, it'd be great. It kind of is though.
Well, yeah. Well, there's 3 honkies sitting here talking.
Well,
about
certain
movies.
sections are honkier than others.
Well, you know, the more you say the word honky, the less it makes any sense.
Honk.
Yeah, because it is one of the dumbest. It is one of the dumbest words, and that's the best insult that anybody could come up with.
No. I mean, I think the best one
the
best one other people of other ethnicities have against the Caucasians is white trash. Is clearly the most insulting.
White trash.
It's a pile of trash.
Yeah, but white trash refers to a specific group of
that's true.
Poor Appalachians or something
we're all
like
just
that.
honkies.
Yeah.
Crackers.
Crackers
is low class.
Anyways, let's ignore Alex doing his more arts and crafts and keep talking about this movie.
He's going to make a paper mache volcano by the end of this podcast.
This is when we get a flashback. He turns his television on. He's got like a giant television, a whole bunch of small televisions.
Did we mention the phones yet?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. When he wipes out. So when he crashes, all of a sudden the phones are... I don't think he crashes.
I think he just stops his car in the street because he hears a phone
I thought it was when he wiped out his nice red convertible when it blew a tire. And then all the phones started ringing, but it was in his mind.
Well, it's just like this one...
But what does that even mean?
It's this one payphone, and I gotta say...
That's an incredible scene, by the way.
It is a good scene.
It's okay.
No, it's brilliant.
I don't think it's incredible or brilliant.
I think he's really digging into his guts. It's like the Shakespearean training he has comes through.
But what was the purpose of that scene? Because he doesn't. It was alluding to him sort of going crazy.
He's losing it.
But that's the only time he's ever illusions him. It's the only time alludes to him going crazy.
He has a very specific response to that. No phones are ringing, and I think this is a phenomenon he's encountered before.
The phone's
ringing?
He's
shutting it down. Yeah, thinking that a phone's ringing.
You know,
and who knows? There might be some kind of weird automated malfunction where, like, one phone does ring somewhere and it just triggers a crazy break for him.
I think it was...
By the way, later in the movie, I don't want to jump ahead too far, but later in the movie, when he encounters someone else, he writes it off right away as having been an element of his imagination.
It's true.
It's not
It's a
bad.
madhouse.
I can't decide whether Charlton Heston is a terrible actor or a great actor. I genuinely can't figure it out.
I don't think he's either. I don't think he's a great actor, but he's got a certain screen presence which is kind of captivating.
He's so cheesy.
He's really cheesy, but I don't think he's a bad actor. He's shirtless a lot, and he's got sweaty, big, hairy pecs.
Is he sexy? Is Charlton Heston?
I can see a sex appeal.
He was considered really handsome throughout his career, and even when he's
not
got
my type.
No, but even when he got into pictures like this, it was just like, whatever. Like he still looked.
I think it's in his contract that he has to be shirtless for 50% of any movies in.
I think, like Van Damme, his ass has to be shown in every.
Friend of mine used to say that about Mickey Rourke, but about sex scenes.
So he's losing it. He goes to the movies. I mean, he's Johnny Nutbag.
Yeah, he leaves the movies too late. He gets home.
He gets home, and he has a
survives
conversation with himself. I guess he just talks to himself everywhere.
He turns like this giant television on, which he's on.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a camera that he talks to himself.
Well, it's an intercom system for security. He sees the outside stuff too, but he has one focused on that room.
On him.
He talks to himself, and he makes a joke about being a narcissist.
Right.
Hey, if you were the last man on Earth, would you ever close a bathroom door?
No. I would probably I would take the door off the hinges and probably just throw it away.
This is just getting in the way.
I know. I got to open the door. I got to close the door.
Yeah, I'm going to lock myself in the bathroom.
And then
in the opening credits, sorry.
Uh-huh.
When he's remembering, the TV, right?
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, look at you handsome devil," or whatever. and for whatever reason, when he's in the elevator,
when he has flashbacks when he pushes the button.
Yeah,
it's a comment on how easy it is to wipe out society.
To push the button,
right.
Exactly.
DEFCON 4.
Yeah, all of a sudden there's things blowing up, and there's bodies on the moon.
He's on the 4th floor, and he pushes 4. I
Whoa.
doubt that that's a thing.
Heavy.
But it's hilarious because I don't know. Maybe
that's an homage.
His nose.
DEFCON 4.
Watch it, listener. When you watch it, his nose explodes. It's like you see him going like, the old world, nukes. And then it's like it zeroes in on his face, and there's this huge explosion that is centered over his nose, and it just looks like his nose explodes.
That's hilarious.
It's pretty fucking great.
And then
you weren't paying attention.
And then
you're too busy doing your arts and crafts.
And this is when we see the helicopter crash he was involved in as well, which is really fun.
It's one of those MASH helicopters that I love.
Yeah, I know. It's like
Those
made
are
out
the
of
best
a kid or
helicopters.
something.
Any Jaws 2 fans out there? This is the small bubble helicopter that Jaws
the shark eats.
Good reference.
Yeah. And then so he survives all this, and he's having his.
He gives himself the cure, but it's the last of the cure.
Yeah, because
the last of the cure. Robert Smith walks in.
He didn't even
name any of the other members of the cure.
He didn't even know it was going to work, and he's ended up surviving, and here he is. And so he's in his apartment. He's making some beans and franks or something like that. He's boiling some wieners.
It's the most British meal I've seen an American prepare.
Well, I'm just like, where's these fresh sausage links coming from? You've been like the butcher's closed. Been closed for 2 years.
I'm just thinking that's
a gross question.
He's got stuff packed away in freezers.
But even after you don't want to eat sausage in the freezer for 2 years.
Fair enough, but
well, you could.
They're gonna be kind of gross.
Prime Cut starring Lee Marvin,
which I have at home. I have not watched that yet. I have it at home.
Sausage links figure prominently
Sweet.
in the film. That's
I love a good sausage.
But anyway.
And then so the zombies decide they're going to attack him that night, and they wheel up a catapult to the front of his house.
They're so adorable.
And
they debate with the same character who arguably used to be a black man. You can't tell anyone's real ethnicity.
Well, you can tell that that's a black dude.
But they're all, as I said, powdered white.
Believe me, they know he's black.
But he makes the suggestion,
and he knows they know.
He makes the suggestion of bringing out heavy artillery from what would have been like early 70s modern military to use against them. But this reporter, played by Anthony
Zerb. Oh, he was the news anchor.
He was the news anchor who's obviously gone completely crazy, who obviously did his job but disagreed with scientists and other people in power at the time, and then or whoever the experts were, and now he's established himself as this kind of cult leader. By the way, being 1971, this film, and considering
he's like a Sean Hannity type.
It would have been developed in like 69 or 70. So I'm totally thinking the Manson reference here. He's like a cult leader. The family.
Yes, yeah,
they're
for
called.
sure.
It's definitely making a reference to like
totally
hippie cults.
Totally
now, I've never read the original book, so
neither have I.
I Am Legend. I read it a couple of years ago. It's a great book.
I've heard
it's
that.
way better than any of the adaptations.
Of course,
but it's also a very small book. It's like it's about 120 pages, something like that. It's not like these movies that they made. The one with Will Smith and this one, they seem to be drawn out a lot to make it feature length. But the book is actually really good. It's
I've heard nothing but great things.
Yeah.
And I tried to locate a copy at the beginning of the pandemic.
Go to your library.
And it's pandemic, right?
All right.
And both are, by the way, with all due respect, our local bookstores are fantastic, but they just didn't happen to have a copy because everyone wanted to read.
I think I have it at home. As I said, I read it last year, but if I still have it, I'll give it to you.
If you have it, please bring it on Friday, maybe.
Yeah.
When I come in. Thank you. That would be great.
Am I mistaken?
We are open this Friday, listeners.
But this is going to air before Friday.
Okay, but that actor who's the head Scientologist,
the head idiot,
Anthony Zerb.
But
he's so boring. He's such a boring bad guy.
You know what he's great in though? He's really great. He's in the Dead Zone. He plays
the
father who lets the kids, the ice is going to break. He ignores that advice.
Stupid
but
dad.
He's really good in it. He's really good. It's not a
he's not a bad actor. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
the character he plays.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, yeah, it's a thankless role because it's all speak of blah blah blah, trying to be dramatic. It's just I hate it. I'll be honest, I did not like.
The only other version of this I've seen is I Am Legend.
The Will Smith
one, which has its own problems. But at least in that one, the zombies are like really savage, frightening, kind of smart,
Bigger budget.
but they're inarticulate.
Yeah.
Whereas these are just a bunch of pale people in fucking
Pale riders.
Halloween costumes.
Yep.
So they crank out this...
Some scabs on their face.
They crank out this...
A catapult.
Catapult. They shun technology.
Even technology going all the way back to the wheel.
So, okay... So, never mind the fact that they actually have a catapult.
Where'd that come
that
from?
they built themselves, is
Right.
the impression I got.
Or they found it in
Was this
Zellers.
just the writer's way of getting around the question, why don't they just go to a gun store and buy a fucking rocket launcher?
Yes, because they actually say in the dialogue right before this, all go get like the modern weapons.
Yeah, but they said no. But
and the cult leaders.
but they're saying like they have chance, like no technology, no wheel, shit like that. But this thing is operated on wheels and levers.
Fair enough, but the wheel thing, I really just thought they were totally. I know, yeah, of course, there's wheels on a catapult, but it was really just to put down a car.
Well, how about
like because this leader was supposed to be
but
kind
they
of
also.
pretentious.
I mean,
too.
at some point, don't they actually like they push a bus in the way of his Jeep?
Yep, and another car as well.
Anyway,
So they're loaded with contradictions,
couldn't the
like
black
most
guy?
people.
Couldn't the black guy zombie just go? Let's just get a fucking rocket launcher and kill this honky cracker.
pull a
moke."
Bruce
Well, he
Colbert.
does say
And-
that, but they were say that basically
So they're
without the honky
they're,
cracker.
So they're cherry picking, and also they're living inside a fucking a football stadium.
Apparently, they talk about it, but they never show
it's a
anything.
convention center.
Right.
I completely from these bad guys, especially from all the contradicting and weird whiteness and stuff. 100% watching the film this time, I was thinking the Trump administration. That's what I got. Of course, they're loaded with contradictions. This was the Trump administration, cracking down on
I
the last naysayer.
didn't really think
I'm
about that
not
at all.
really-
That actually doesn't make any sense.
But they're just dumb white guys in power who are full of contradictions, and the contradictions were that you're citing as some kind of weakness here.
Just
Is he
kill
like,
him.
no, but here's the thing. I think that was intentional by the writers.
Maybe.
They were like, yeah, like of course, like they're not going to come in like they've been germ bombed and they'll go crazy and they're like homicidal maniacs. They're not going to have a perfect philosophy that makes sense. Even if the way they rationalize things isn't going to make sense fully.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are probably brain damaged and stuff.
Yeah, well, they all
A lot like
they all have
Trump
their
supporters,
issues.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, the
There
Trump
you go.
administration.
So anyway, so they wheel out this
The catapult.
and it's adorable.
Yeah, it is adorable.
One,
They
one-
little
one-
fire bombs.
One of them isn't even on fire. They just shoot. It's
No,
like a
they're
basketball.
but they're doing it on purpose. They're just firing at
Yeah,
random times.
what are these? Like I said, are they shooting like a flaming basketball? Is
And
that what
how
they're
many-
doing?
No, I think it's just like a pile of junk tied together to start a fire.
And how many of them are there?
One scene that we're involved with right now. He's Charlton Heston's like sporting this crushed velour green
jacket,
which is fucking
puffy,
great. He's
puffy
fucking
pirate
swamped.
ascot.
Like, did he get dressed up? Does he
Yes,
get dressed up to
because
It was
he,
Sunday.
no, he says it's Sunday, and he normally dresses up. For dinner.
He always dresses for
But
dinner.
and then one of those little fireball basketball things ends up in his apartment, which does very little damage.
Yeah.
Like I think it sets the curtains on fire, which he just hoses down with the fire extinguisher.
Exactly.
And then he pulls out the scope with his giant red.
Yeah, which is so awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
but he doesn't shoot
infrared.
anybody. He shoots. He
So-
just shoots the catapult. And anyways,
Huge.
I love the fact that I want that green velour.
Oh, it's awesome, and I
Yeah.
love that puppy.
Oh man, it looks so
I
good.
started wearing ascots
Because of this movie?
You're wearing one right now.
I know. Is that why you're dressed up like this tonight? Because of the movie?
No, but you know what?
I like it.
Maybe
So then we move on to the next scene. He's in a mannequin store for some reason. Actually, no, he's buying clothes.
yeah, because it's almost like I'm assuming all the laundry facilities may not work anymore.
Well, you
so
might
they-
as well just
and,
buy.
and it's
you
like,
just go
yeah,
buy.
just
You might as
go
well
get
take
a
your-
new outfit
Yeah.
every couple of days. I love this moment.
Well, I was when he's in the I was like, oh man, I hope he fucks a mannequin. Please let him have a
He was so close to fucking that mannequin.
There's one with like boobs, and he's looking at the boobs, and he's looking. And I was
You
like,
know
come
what,
on,
though?
please.
You know what though? That's funny you say that because
At least dry hump a
this
mannequin.
scene has totally potential to be like, oh
I-
my god, it's so gross, but it's like I think it's an interesting scene because it doesn't go over the top or anything, and I think it makes sense.
He
Like,
doesn't actually fuck the mannequin.
Well, no, and I certainly
Boo.
wasn't rooting like you guys were, but it's like
I was actually rooting.
he just. I just think it's neat because I
Mannequin.
honestly believe that it's of course it's a female mannequin that he approaches, But if it had been even a dude, it's just to see another lifelike figure in front of you would be so.
Well, at least maybe kiss it. Maybe a little tongue. Or something like that.
I would have at least tit fucked that mannequin.
Yeah, might as well.
I mean, there's nothing down below.
No, of course not. You have to drill a hole.
Yeah, but
that
splinters.
Was, you were arrested like the.
Well, you'd
Venus
sand
de
it down.
Milo, right?
You'd sand it down.
That was your defense when you tit fucked the Venus de Milo. You're like nothing down below.
Wait, he hears a couple noises. And then Lisa, is that her name? Lisa? She's posing as a mannequin.
Yes,
Don't look at anything like a mannequin.
And I remember
she's moving.
For a second, I was like, that black lady mannequin is fucking hot.
Oh, as soon as you saw her, you knew she was.
By the way, at this scene in the movie, my brain just got jumping to Mannequin with Kim Cattrall, Andrew McCarthy, which I've actually never seen.
I never.
And I've never seen Mannequin 2 on the move.
Has Andrew McCarthy ever been in a good movie?
Yes.
St. Elmo's Fires?
I think I'm going to say St. Elmo's Fire.
No, Weekend at Bernie's.
As far as I can tell, it's been nothing but crap in that
Well, Pretty in Pink.
Andrew McCrappy.
Oh, Pretty in Pink. Yeah, but he's Blaine.
He's still in the movie.
But he's in Weekend at Bernie's. Achievement enough for anyone, man.
Okay.
So the next scene, he's in a lovely wine cellar. And I was like, oh man, I could live in that nice wine cellar. No, he chases the mannequin lady who's super fast. Like, he's running fast, and she's, like, miles ahead of him.
Yeah.
And she's actually stops and waits for him to catch up, and then takes off again.
Yeah.
Like, she's pretty impressive.
It's
totally
awesome.
I think I might have dozed off at this part.
And
in the
so
movie.
I definitely fell asleep and had to rewind at one point.
Yeah, you too.
And so, yeah, because this movie's boring.
It is boring.
So then she... somehow they wind up at like Rogers Arena. I couldn't quite figure out.
Was that?
Oh, and by the way, where's all this electricity coming from?
Well, the very first scene when he's driving around town, the street lights are on. Yes.
There's a red light, yeah. but then I thought, oh, that must have just been a glitch, because you no longer saw street lights because I was watching for them.
Yeah.
So I think that was just a fuck up.
Yeah.
But crucial to his escape from the Scientologists is Lisa shouts out like lights,
and all the stadium lights.
Stadium lights come on. So where are they getting this?
And they explain that he asks her specifically, where do you get the power for the lights, or how do you work them? And she says Dutch. And they never go any further. But basically, it's Dutch is a member of her team.
Oh, okay.
She's revealed to have a whole team of survivors.
Oh, you mean Slash? The guy with the top hat and no shirt?
No, she calls it
the jacket.
No, Dutch. And I don't mean Ernest Borgnine and the Wild Bunch, even though it's a great cinematic Dutch. Of course, Dylan will snip that reference up. But
or how about Ed O'Neill?
Dutch
in the movie Dutch?
Yeah, she says Dutch. Dutch.
Or how about Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando?
Dutch.
Yeah.
Or Dustin Hoffman and Billy Bathgate, Dutch.
Oh, you're right.
Wow. I can't think of any Dutches.
Or whoever played him in the Warren Beatty film. That's Bugsy. I can't remember who played him.
Pass the Dutchie on the left-hand side.
Patrick Dempsey played him in Mobsters.
Oh my God, did he ever?
Wow.
Boy, there's a movie I would love to see.
And Louis Malle's Atlantic City. Burt Lancaster claims to have spent a night in jail with Dutch.
Wow.
But anyway, getting back to...
I think we've exhausted all the Dutches.
Dutch references. But
I have a friend who's Dutch.
The Double Dutch Bus, that old 80s song.
Farting in a blanket when your girlfriend's there.
Dutch oven, yeah.
That pancake
There's not a lot of flattering expressions of the word Dutch, actually.
The pancake...
I hate to be the Dutch.
The pancake chain that used to be all over Vancouver.
Dutch Panacook House?
Little Dutch shoe or whatever.
No,
but
there was one. There was one on Canby. The little
it's
Dutch
called it's called the wooden shoe. On Canby.
She says... Dutch takes care of it, and that to me, all that says is it's enough for the script to reveal that if Heston has figured out a way to siphon power after the apocalypse, so have these guys.
Okay, my question is, all right, so actually, never mind, because logic is involved.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Why the hell would they take him to fucking Rogers Arena and they're gonna set him on fire like a witch?
Well, yeah, they
Oh, by the way, best thing ever. I don't know if you guys noticed, but after they take him to the stadium, they have on a dunce cap.
Yes.
I was so happy. That was the best dunce cap I've ever seen.
That's pretty good.
I feel dunce caps they're really underrepresented in cinema.
It's a pretty
more
good
dunce caps.
Why is that?
Because they're just a wonderful, underutilized symbol.
Can you think of anything else that you've seen a dunce cap in? Like,
no,
it was a pretty good...
a refreshing image.
But why did they put a dunce cap on him, do you think? Like,
because they're denouncing all scientists. And they blame him for the apocalypse.
And he is a scientist.
And they blame him numerous times in the script up to this point, including the dunce cap scene. that it's his fault for the apocalypse.
But it actually is not his fault for the
It's
apocalypse.
not, but they're
hysterical.
He
He actually came up with the antidote, or the serum, or whatever.
Exactly, and they're hysterical.
I love it when they've captured him, and they're like, take him to the little room.
Yeah.
And they take him. It's actually a really big room. They take him to.
Yeah.
It's full of people, and it's all these guys are standing around in their robes. And I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to be a really gross Eyes Wide Shut party, isn't it? And I was kind of hoping it would go that route, but it didn't.
Zerb as the leader
question.
totally gave me a Trump vibe. It's unintentional because it's years before Trump.
Can you imagine Trump in an Eyes Wide Shut thing?
No, but I can imagine
his
him.
little hands and his shriveled balls.
Eyes Wide Trump.
I can imagine
Trump
convincingly in Omega Man playing the Anthony.
Oh, for sure.
Cerebral, and that's the thing. There's a big war on science going
Didn't
on.
they,
They're condemning the science.
Wasn't there a dunce cap in the Devils?
I think no. There were caps and things, but
So actually,
they weren't.
Some guy came in and rented the Devils at the other store I was working today, and he was so excited that we have it. He goes, I'm looking at this film. You probably don't have it. It's called The Devils. I go, Ken Russell Devils? Yeah, we got it. He goes, really?
It's super rare.
You're never going to see that movie again.
Yeah, well.
It's super rare. Warner
Had a good
Brothers
run.
is too chicken shit.
Warner Brothers?
Warner
Brothers. And,
You're talking like Scooby-Doo.
Del Toro.
Del Toro.
The director, not Benicio del Toro, but I always forget the director's
Guillermo.
name. I always mispronounce his name. I know his first name. But he is a huge fan of the Devils and is petitioning for its re-release.
I forgot.
Good.
I would love to see on the big screen.
I love to see a Blu-ray of it. That's
he goes jogging with a gun.
Who's jogging?
He's investigating. Oh yeah, he's jogging before all this happens. He goes for this long jog.
He does? I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. He's like running and he's investigating at the same time.
You mean before all the apocalypse happened?
No.
The flashback.
No, before he gets new clothes. He's like he's going on this.
Right.
He's jogging. It's a really nice piece of cinematography, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to 28 Days Later,
right.
Where you kind of wonder how the fuck did they get the city to themselves?
Yeah,
to film
because
this
they
movie.
film Sunday mornings,
and then he goes in, and then he's got a gun, and he winds. Is this a different scene where he winds up in the hotel lobby? And he finds an empty can of sardines that still has the oil dribbling out of it.
Yeah,
that's before
this is a clue that somebody else has been there.
He hasn't met the other.
Yeah, the mannequin lady,
yet.
Lisa,
it's
the
his
hot
first
mannequin.
clue. Yeah, there's fresh
sardines. There's fresh
litter,
fresh sardine juice.
No, but with oil, it's just like what? Okay, what are the? Whatever. I'm not going to be too critical.
I was like, gross. Who's eating sardines?
I love sardines.
But if you're just like starving at that point, you'd eat
sardines.
I eat sardines like all the time.
I'd rather die.
Pickled herring too.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
Any kind of
may I remind you
fish? I'm a fan of.
May I remind you of the disastrous the Saturday special here at Black Dog that Darren instigated years ago? It was
sardines.
Free sardines with a rental.
If you rent,
Splash. You know what the mistake was putting a sardine in the movie case and giving it to people because they take it home. They leave it in their car and they go to the beach or go see a movie or something.
And they're followed by cats.
Constantly cats.
Who just put the sardine in their mouth and then pull the bone out.
Yeah.
I'll never forget getting a DVD back here. I won't name names, but I got a DVD back here one time. Case overflowing with salsa. And I phoned the person, like, the disc is covered, the case is full, there's salsa. It was a woman, she chuckled, and I said, she chuckled and said, oh no, that's baby food.
Oh, for Christ's sakes.
Can you not let, if you obviously know the food's in there, can you please remove it?
Yes. Well, then we have like an escape from the stadium when he's on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And it's like probably the worst body double I think I've ever seen in a movie. It's not Charlton Heston.
Your TV's bigger than mine.
It does not even look like Charlton Heston. I'm not like, he's driving really fast and the Jawas are trying to look threatening, but they just get out of the way.
This scene, I agree.
Yeah.
By the way, as you can see so far, I'm not going to give my final conclusion, but in this scene, the fact that they're swinging at him so close and keep missing him.
Yeah, well, it
really diminishes their threat.
It's like 3 feet over his head. It's like nowhere near. Like
it looked like the kind of thing you'd see at like Universal Studios, like the Omega Man ride.
I go on the Omega Man
ride. It's like the P&E haunted house. Like
they're like out of work dancers. And they're like, ooh.
Did I tell you I went on the Jaws ride in?
Did you see
Universal Studios, but in Japan, in Osaka. And it was crazy. I was the only non-Japanese person on the boat, And it's funny because it's sort of narrated by this cute Japanese schoolgirl who's carrying a shotgun on the boat, and she's
Really
shooting the shark as we're driving around and freaking out and like just screaming. The shark's on fire. There's like it was crazy. It was so much fun. Let's get back to this stupid movie we're watching.
See, this is where I fell asleep because I have no more notes.
Well,
I have the vampire people are easily thwarted with road flares.
Yeah, that's right.
Because Buddy's just throwing road flares.
Oh yeah, well, this is when we meet. This is when we meet the family in the hills. With some hippies and a bunch of children for some reason. Then it gets the children of the corn kids up there.
Well, they explain a bit that it seems like younger people have a bit more.
One of them says, "Are you God?" to Charlton Heston. I'm sure Charlton Heston. He probably wrote that line.
Can one of the children call me God?
Come on.
And then can I hand him an AK-47 and tell him it's his right to bear arms?
There's a funny scene when they're Lisa and Charlton Heston in his apartment, and they're trying to seduce each other. They're trying, and he's like talking about chess, and he's like, "It's your move," and she turns on the stereo and she goes, "I just made my move." It's like, it's like, oh.
But I like that scene,
just
and
him singing.
I really liked the scene, and I thought they had a lot of chemistry.
Really? I didn't think they had much chemistry.
I didn't
and it was
zero.
Also,
he has chemistry with himself, and that's it.
No,
pretty much
I thought they had chemistry, and there was also a real attitude as well. Because keep in mind, like this film's 71. I mean, we still live in a time of incredible racial tension and stuff, obviously. But back then, when it was
nice to see.
It was pretty daring for that time. And I think a lot of it was just like, fuck it, we're stuck with that other. And I think it in some ways, these two people racially probably would never have even really looked at each other twice originally. Yeah. They're just going for it. They're alone. And
I would have thought they would have just been like ravaging each other in the fucking mannequin shop.
The film has flaws.
Using the mannequin hand.
The film, like if he had
scratching their backs.
Charlton Heston, if he had seen that woman in the mannequin store, he probably would have been like, "She's shoplifting." But at this point, it's like, you know what I mean? There would have been weird racial stuff.
Maybe.
And now they're just like,
maybe
what
they should
the hell?
make a prequel.
And they've proven each other as
Mega
equals.
Boy.
Like they're both. The film is flawed and stuff, but they're both kicking ass.
Yeah.
At this point, and I can see them falling for one another. And there is an acknowledgement of like, not only is there the so-called color barrier between the two characters, but he's way older than her.
Yes.
And so it's like the age barrier too. Yeah. But they're just like, they're lonely. They're kicking ass together, and they're attractive.
I've never really understood that people get hung up about age.
I'm not sure how.
No, but they do, and I think this film shoots it down well. I think there is chemistry between the two. And they convey it in a way where it's like, of course it's awkward because there's an age barrier and a so-called, like, a racial barrier between them. And they're just like, going for it. They both kicked ass. The film's flawed, but I really like this point of the movie, and I always have.
There's a lot.
I thought it was really cool that an old white dude and a young black woman hook up.
There's a lot that I like about this movie. It's just maybe it's of its time or whatever, and the pacing isn't what I'm used to or what I grew up watching. But there came a point when I just got bored, like tremendously, overwhelmingly bored. And I think it's because there was no credible threat by the scary monsters. Like, they just didn't scare me at all. There are movies from that time that have got better creature effects. I didn't understand their ethos.
I thought the villains were like
why are they from the Bronze Age?
They were incredibly lame. That's all I have to say about that.
I just wasn't scared, and I like the things I like about the movie is like I love the scenes with Heston, all of the scenes where he's in his cool penthouse, his
green jacket,
his Hugh Hefner fucking swinging.
Why would you drive around trying to shoot those guys or whatever when you can? Well, I guess you probably want to get out of the house every now and then.
Of course, and you think, and also it's like
that's why I go.
It doesn't matter. Like before, I brought up because
this movie's what, like 71, 72? So maybe it hadn't been done a million times, but now chess is just shorthand for clever, smart person.
Is it because you don't know how to play chess?
Good guy, bet. I do. I love playing chess.
I love playing chess too.
I'm terrible at it.
Me too.
And you know what else I'm bad at? Tennis. Are you bad at tennis?
Pretty bad.
Great. Let's play chess and tennis together.
At the same time.
Because I've been looking for someone to play tennis and chess with, but everyone's better than me.
Yeah, no, I'm not very good at tennis at all.
Look, here's the thing. I don't like chess, but I'll play tennis with either of you anytime. because I love tennis. I'm terrible at it, but I love it. I'm hopeless with chess. But one of my favorite karaoke songs is "One Night in Bangkok," and that's the theme song to the musical Chess.
Chess.
Anyways, let's talk about this movie that we actually watched all together. Well, we didn't watch it, but we're talking about this.
It's just the story doesn't really have a lot going for it.
No, well, that's because the book is a small book, and this movie doesn't really have that much to do with the book, except for the basic premise: Last Guy on Earth. They don't give Charlton Heston anything to do. Like, he drives around. There's just nothing going on here that's of interest. And the bad guys are terrible bad guys. The music, for me, I think I mentioned this earlier before we got sidetracked. The music in this movie is ridiculous.
70s lounge. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was from a different movie. I thought, did something happen in my DVD and I've got a weird soundtrack from something else? Because this movie music doesn't create any tension, does not create any atmosphere, anything at all to go with this movie. And it actually ruined any experience, any enjoyment I was going to have in this movie.
It's almost like Heston's character and then the baddies. They never really, even when they get him, they catch him
twice
because he smells the sardines and he goes on in and they put a big butterfly net over him or whatever, and then they fuck it and they're gonna
put the dunce cap on.
It's like Monty Python. It's laughable.
Ugh.
Like, oh, he got away.
These are the most non-threatening bad guys.
But then he's in his. It's almost like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner or whatever.
Kinda,
it's just like, oh, you're gonna keep trying to throw your fucking fireballs at my apartment.
And
I'm gonna keep like murdering you with machine guns. Like, I would have loved it because they do eventually overrun his apartment.
Yeah,
and it would have been. There was an opportunity that
scene freaked me out because
really
when he gets to the apartment, it totally freaked me out because out of nowhere, all these different cloaked people start popping out of nowhere. Totally freaked the shit. I mean,
really?
Yeah, and then he runs, recover. Next thing you know, Kevin Spacey's in the shower.
You just had to ruin the entire evening.
You actually got that one past my defenseman.
Okay,
but they had it. Maybe just a scene where
Kevin Spacey's in the shower.
Yeah, well, that improves every movie. No, what's his name? The bad guy, the bad Zerb, whatever his name is, right?
Anthony Zerb.
Like, maybe he actually sits down and goes, yes, chess, a game from the old world. This isn't technology. And then maybe they actually play chess
in real time.
Yeah.
Again, chess metaphor, my friend.
It's not just a metaphor. It's like it actually like there's some. But I realize this. But these
symbol
the baddies and the goodie never really ever rub up against each other. I
would like to see that.
It's just like, oh, well, and then I fell asleep and I did go back and rewatch it, but I honestly couldn't tell you how it is he winds up in some fucking military vehicle driving on the streets of Los Angeles
in a Jeep. And
he's a Jeep in storage,
and he's dressed like an airline pilot.
Yeah.
Or something.
No, he's got his own old military hat. He has vehicles in his storage space, including this army Jeep, and he dusts off his old military outfit.
And then he crashes that.
Yeah.
Horribly. Well, and he should have died in that accident.
But he didn't.
He didn't, but he should have.
They're like they're like the Ewoks. Like they have all these traps waiting for him. Like they knew he was just going to start driving around.
On those specific streets. But this is this is when the movie really, for me, totally falls apart. When Lisa goes out shopping, and then suddenly turns into like a zombie person.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
No, it wasn't. It was stupid.
I thought it was awesome. I totally forgot that from the last time I watched it, and I love the fact that she sees the march of these people at night.
And she
starts unwrapping her hat, and I almost think, what? She got like a pistol hidden up there, and she's going to start open fire, and then it's like, no, she's turned.
But that didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Sure it did.
No, it didn't.
Especially in a pandemic.
But no, that's not even how anything even works.
The three of us are sitting here fine. I suddenly start getting sweaty. You're like, Alex, you're okay. And the next thing you know, I'm giving you COVID.
Well, the next thing you know, I'm cutting your throat and cutting your head off and throwing you out in the street.
Exactly.
But anyway, so she turns
into a zombie for whatever reason.
For no reason.
Because they've all been affected, and the young boy, Rich, who we haven't mentioned once.
Yeah, but he took forever. He was gradually turning into one of those. They gave him the service. She turned into him like going shopping.
It's different rapidity.
Nah, I didn't buy it all. I just thought it was contrived and bullshit.
No, I liked it.
Okay.
Anyway, so then cut to the chase. he gets speared. Like,
yeah, so they've after he's discovered this band of children and hippie dude, one of them is dying or turning, and so he develops a serum that cures him. So he has a serum that can cure everybody in theory.
And it looks like
And it's working on the kid, man.
It worked on the kid, but he wants to give it. Actually, no, the kid wants Heston to give the serum to the zombies. Heston doesn't want to. He just wants to let them all die horrible deaths. But
And
then
the kid goes to see the zombies,
and then they don't want it, and they kill him. They kill the kid.
So there's this flask of like red Kool-Aid.
That could have been true.
Apparently the
That's
cure.
a bad thing.
Trooper sucks.
And someone throws a fucking a spear.
Well, this is after he's been taken up to his apartment, and everyone's there. All the bad guys are there, and they start smashing. It's like, hey, watch this, Charlton Heston, and they start smashing all shit. They break everything. His
Which
chest
broke
set.
my heart because his apartment is like
It was a
the
really nice
greatest
apartment.
movie apartment ever.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And he drags Lisa with him because he wants to give her the serum to make her better. And for some reason, he's standing in a fountain. Well, and she's dying on the ground. And then Anthony's
he's trying to. He gets away with her.
Right.
She, I forget how he ends up at the fountain, but he tries. No, I remember what happens. He walks her as far as the fountain. She starts to walk back because the cult leader's calling her to her.
Right.
And it's
'Cause
like a
he's
tug
at
of
the-
war
yeah.
between the two who want to save her. The cult leader, Anthony Zare, throws the spear,
Which is
hits
an
him, and he
amazing
falls
shot.
Into
I
the
thought
fountain.
when he launched the spear, I thought he was going to shoot Lisa. I thought he was going to not shoot, but hit Lisa with the spear. But
Yeah.
he throws a spear from the balcony.
Yeah, and
Just, it just pierces Chuck right in the like. It was great. It was
Because
a great shot.
Heston's staring at her, saying,
Yeah.
"Don't go." And he's
Yeah,
like,
I like that. I like that bit.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And he falls, by the way, when he collapses into the pool. He takes on the crucifix.
Oh yeah, I know.
It was too subtle for me. The blood and the fucking
Yeah.
shape of the cross.
As subtle as your fake sarcasm right now.
Subtler.
And then the next day, the kids and the hippie dude drive up in the van because they had plans to go into the country with the serum and live a happy
so
life.
Slash is like
Slash is there, little Slash Junior.
Slash Junior. By the way, did they just leave the Omega Man just
Yep.
crucified?
Well, you know, he died. He died. He died.
They don't take his body.
No, they just leave him there.
They don't bury him or
nope,
anything.
No, they just leave him there. And then movie over.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it does that 70s science fiction thing where it's a red wash with
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
yeah, it's almost like an X-ray, like
they
a
just discovered it.
Yeah.
You know, the way we
Red
just
wash.
discovered fucking decent 3D or whatever. Anyway, so and that was the Omega Man.
That was the Omega Man. I did not like this movie at all. I thought it was boring. I fell asleep a few times. I hated the music ruined this movie for me. I did not like the bad guys. They were lame and boring and non-threatening.
Do you think if you'd seen it when it came out, do you think you might have?
I don't know. I would have been 6 when it came out, so maybe. Reaction. I think I did not like it. I thought everything about this. I thought again, except what stood out for me again. I'm going to say it again. It was the soundtrack, the music. Just ruined it. Like it was inappropriate, and I don't know what they were fucking thinking.
So it is the kind of thing that maybe if you went to like a drug party, like an acid party.
I like drug parties.
And the volume was turned down, and there was like some cool music playing.
I would have
visual. It'd be
maybe I would have enjoyed it in that aspect. If I was on hallucinogenics at a party, I couldn't hear the movie, but it was on in the background. I might have enjoyed it.
It's just weird to look at. How about you, Alex? Does it hold up?
I loved it. And by the way,
really
loved it. Not only does it hold up, I liked it now today more than ever because I had never, like I said to you before, I saw this film a bunch of times in the 90s and like once when I was a kid and little bits and pieces, but it was always a really shitty pan and scan VHS or whatever. I think there may have been one late night viewing in Montreal when I lived there. Like CF 12 late night showed up heavily covered commercials. My point is, it looked better than ever. It was nice and widescreen.
Did look really good on the DVD.
It looked great, and the monsters aren't very menacing, but at the same time, intentional by the filmmakers or not, I still got an idea that it was like less about, oh my god, it's so terrifying. There was an element of the absurd of all this because it's the end of the world, and humanity, even post the apocalypse, are fucking things up. The bad guys are a bunch of klutzes and stuff. Maybe that's just my brain rationalizing a movie I wanted to like more. But I honestly feel that them not being completely terrifying still worked within the movie for me.
I would have to say read the book. The book is better than anything.
I totally want to. Please. I did call local bookstores. No put down to them. They were sold out. A lot of people want to read the book.
They like what's going on.
It's been kind of a big renter here, actually, ever since the
all those sort of apocalypse, those kind of films. Have been,
of the
popular.
3 versions, I'm just going to throw this. So it has nothing to do with pairing anything, but of the 3 versions, for me, the most successful is the Vincent Price one.
Jeez, I would recommend it, with the caveat that it's
not very good.
Well, no, it's an interesting time capsule. The delivery just didn't captivate me.
Yeah.
But you know, it's I think it's more than the sum of its parts. Watch it at a drug party with the volume turned down.
There you go. I think I wanted this movie to be better, and I think that's a little disappointing. That's probably why I'm more disappointed. I want it to be better.
Yeah,
I'll say to the listener, that being said, do what I did: smoke a big doobie and watch it.
Well, I did that too.
I totally enjoyed it.
Well, we all did.
I loved it.
I did.
Well, you did.
I don't smoke doobies.
2/3 of us did.
Darren.
Yes.
It is Monday here.
Actually, we're not doing 2-for-1s anymore. 2-for-1 Mondays are gone.
It is Monday here at Black Dog Video.
Any day of the week here, and someone wants to rent a second movie.
It is whatever day it is.
You have to rent 5 movies. We need because our deal is now 5 for 15, so you have to pick 4 movies to go with.
Probably could. So Darren,
yes,
it is Sunday here at Black Dog Video, and according to Charlton Heston, that's a day that you dress up to eat dinner.
I wish I was wearing my green.
Somebody walks in wearing their finest green velvet jacket
with a giant rifle with a red scope on it.
Whatever. They come in, they hold a gun to your head and say, "I want to rent the Omega Man."
Yep.
And I also want a second movie that I'm willing to pay a full price for.
Okay.
What movie would you pair this up
Well,
with?
the obvious movie is Soylent Green to go with this one. It's dystopian. It's got Charlton Heston, and it's a movie that's good, but it should have been better than what it is. So I'm going to go with Soylent Green.
Damn it! That was my pick.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why it's the obvious one. I'm sorry.
I have a couple others backups, but yeah. So
I think Soylent Green's better. It's a more fun movie, and it's way more dystopian, and it's a little crazier.
I actually think Soylent Green is an excellent film.
And it's funny you said Soylent Green because I haven't seen Soylent Green I've seen it, but again, I haven't seen it since the same era I saw Omega Man on VHS.
Okay, Alex, it is Sunday. You're dressed up in your finest ascot
and t-shirt
and the shining t-shirt.
Yeah, and your hula skirt.
Yeah, and your shorty shorts.
Yeah, your knee-high socks.
And for some reason,
your fedora.
Yeah,
with a feather in it.
And those Ilsa
and your Elton John
VSS
and
boots.
your Elton John glasses.
Yeah, what about it?
And your elf ears.
Yeah. And a bullwhipper in your neck.
Yeah, and your rings on every finger.
And hot green lipstick.
Yeah, and your knee pads.
And an eye patch.
Yeah, and your boots with the knives in them.
And half your body shaved.
Yeah, and
don't ask me how I know that.
And your assless chaps.
There goes all my CERB payment. That's where all my economy relief, my emergency relief benefit from Canadian government went into the makeover they just described.
Well, keep your receipts.
That's pretty good.
So it's Sunday, and someone says, "I'd like to also rent a movie at full price, other than just the Omega Man." What's the movie that you recommend?
Oh, it's unquestionable, hands down, Woodstock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
I know. I didn't think of it either.
Oh,
Why?
Because it's in this film and it's wonderful and worth seeing.
It's
the same goes if someone came up and said, with Woodstock, and
I'll have one too, please.
If someone walked up with Woodstock and needed the movie to watch, I'd insist on it being Omega Man. It's a wonderful film, and I think the perfect pairing for Woodstock is Omega Man, and the perfect pairing for Omega Man is Woodstock.
Whoa, heavy. What's your pairing?
I'm going to go for not another Charlton Heston movie, but another fine Anthony Zerbe performance.
Ooh.
And I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure. And it's another movie from the 70s that is really more fun to in concept than in delivery. And it also has.
I think I know what it is.
It also has kind of awful music playing throughout it.
I know who it is.
And that movie is Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Oh,
but we don't have that film.
What do you mean we don't have Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park?
We don't have it. And I used to own it on VHS.
We've
never had it at this location. I can tell you that, dude.
I know we had the other story.
Trust me. We've never had it at this location. And it's never been available on DVD as an individual rental. I love this film. I owned it on VHS.
I have it on VHS
for years.
Come over to Commercial Drive.
Yeah, you have it with a cover, right?
1, 2, 3, fake.
That's my copy.
No.
I lent it to you. Yeah, it is. I've been looking for it for years.
Play the fifth.
I honestly, dude, I lent it to you years ago. I'll describe the packaging.
Let me check.
No, it is mine.
No. Let me check.
Like, I'm not being a dick. Like, dude, all I'm saying is, please, I'm begging you right now,
bro,
use your converter, make a DVD of it, and then we rent Detroit Rock City. We have to have that as the free second rental. Yeah. Tape it to it. Like, if it doesn't work,
do you have a machine?
Yeah, I do.
Well,
please do. No, that's my VHS. I'm serious. I've been looking for it for years.
I was a huge Kiss fan. It was my first album I ever bought. I bought like that. It's it was the first album I ever bought. It was my very first concert. Yeah, it was
the originals.
My very first concert in 1980.
It was the Dynasty tour.
The Dynasty tour. It blew my mind.
It's called The Return of Kiss.
Are you sure it wasn't Evil Robot Kiss?
I don't know. Then when this movie came on TV, I was so excited. And I made my family watch it. Because they knew I was obsessed with Kiss, so we all sat down to watch it. And I remember like there's a commercial break. And I look over, this is really good, isn't it? Isn't this awesome? And they kind of stared blankly at me.
Oh,
come on, but there is a giant Gene Simmons.
It is a terrible movie. It's a god awful movie.
No, but it's so much fun to watch.
But it's got Kiss in it, and they're terrible actors, but it's got them playing live.
Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park.
The movie that nobody will be able to see because it's not available on any platform.
That I own on VHS, that is my copy.
That you have to go to your house to watch.
No one has ever given me. I came into possession.
I don't know where it came from, but it's legitimate.
Magic fairy came down.
Yes, it was a legitimate
and wished
source
it into
existence
emerging
in your
in my
hand.
hand.
Honestly,
who cares?
Seriously, that's my VHS, bro. I remember because
bro,
I had a bad habit of this back in the day too. Whenever I found someone at a VHS player, you gotta borrow my Kiss movie. I'm not like, trust me, I'm sure it's
there's worse habits to have than that.
People get off at the bus station. Yeah. You're like a pimp. Like,
watch my Kiss movie. You had a VCR. Are we still doing the podcast?
Because it's awful, but it's a blast. Like it's they're kicking ass.
Fuck, I would go see that in the fucking
and they play Beth. It's very touching.
They do play Beth.
It's an acoustic version where the song is about trying to explain to their girlfriends back home on their planet that they are
they're rehearsing in the garage.
Intergalactic fucking demon. I mean, what are they?
By the way,
I have no
like
idea what that movie's about.
Like demigods, right?
Kiss meets Savannah would make a great double bill with
Phantom of the
Girls
Paradise?
Are Easy.
And by the way, did the Phantom actually think that his bullshit like robot Kiss could possibly win in a tussle with the real intergalactic demigod Kiss?
By the way, they've gone on.
He can breathe fire.
Who thought of this? Who thought of doing that?
Well, here's the thing. By the way, Kiss
so weird.
have gone on record. The pitch officially
what record?
to them.
What record?
The pitch officially to them as a band was also to give you the timeline of when it was made. They were pitched it as we're gonna put you in A Hard Day's Night meets Star Wars. So they're like, oh yeah, and they're like, and they kind of like
even that sounds terrible.
Well, at the same time,
who
it's
wants
like,
to see
well,
that?
at the same time, the adventures of a band, and you play into like the mythic, goofy imagery of their makeup.
This has been a Black Dog production. Black Dog Video 1470 Commercial Drive
and 3451 Canby Street, the flagship, the mothership, the mother store.
On Canby, just across from Keno.
Across from Park Theater in Keno,
yeah, there's not much else we have to say. Go to Jefferson's and get a haircut.
Wear your mask.
Gloves, wear your mask.
Wash your hair. He's not washing your hair.
Yeah,
when you wash your hair, be sure to avoid Kevin Spacey in the show.
The Black Dog After Dark podcast is recorded at Black Dog Video on Commercial Drive in Vancouver, Canada. It's presented by Alex Chisholm, Darren Gay, and Dylan Reimer. It is produced by Dylan Reimer and Darren Gay. Alex just kind of stands there and drinks beer. The intro and outro music was recorded by Tiger Burning Bright, composed by Jeff, who works at Jefferson's Barbershop, also on Commercial Drive. And he's a damn good hairstylist.
There is no phone ring.